Hi there, this is Ronnie coming at you with a video. Usually when I do summations of games I'm either running or playing in, I wait till the game's over and then give you my final thoughts. And in the case of this one, I will be doing a final thoughts video once we get there. But given this game, this scenario is going to take about a year, we reckon. That's if we all survive. More on that later. And after talking with the GM, I thought I would do sort of intermittent ones as the campaign is ongoing. So this is my sort of overview of how the prologue and chapter 1 of Massive Nyarlathotep has went so far. Now it is it goes beyond classic. It is almost mythic as a Call of Cthulhu campaign. I'd never seen it, but I sure as hell had heard of it. I mean, way back when I first started playing Call of Cthulhu, which was around about 3rd edition and obviously 4th edition, which I own. And I knew about Massive Nyarlathotep then. So to be playing it in Jason's game, Pear of Geeks, to link down below, for 7th edition it's an interesting experience. Firstly, we've got one of the things. I mean, we're running with the pre-generated characters for a couple of reasons. I think one, it was just easier for character gen just to have the pre-gens just go for it. And secondly, the characters have been made to be quite diverse. And it also stops something I've talked about in previous videos about Cthulhu. It's stopping people making a Call of Cthulhu character rather than just a character that just happens to be in the game. Still getting slightly over a cold. The prologue had the players. There's myself, Phil, Becky, and Giorgio, and we were in Peru. We found ourselves on an expedition heading towards an old sort of Incan or Mayan pyramid. All sorts of nefarious sort of skullduggery going on, which culminated in what we thought was a meeting with some sort of powerful entity that's really sort of powerful entity that was controlling minds. We got through that amazingly. We all got through it. But that sort of set up everything. Chapter 1, sort of chapter proper, the prologue is something that's been added to the new edition. Chapter 1 has us in New York with all kinds of things going on, dealing with cultists, and an expedition has gone missing in Africa. Our friend that we had met in Peru was involved. We went to go and meet him to find him dead. He'd been murdered in his hotel room and sort of eviscerated. We were following all kinds of leads, drawing probably more attention than we wanted from the police. It culminated in a party at the sister of the head of the expedition, and involved some cultists and a creature, a sort of large dragon-like creature, which turned out to be a hunting horror. I don't want to say too much about what's going on in case people actually want to play it. So I don't want to give away too much. But that particular the party and that altercation, that encounter, happened last night. And at certain points it was looking like we were going to get a total party kill, which would have been interesting because it then asks sort of, where does the adventure go? Because there are other pre-gen characters, obviously, and there's clearly more to the campaign than the prologue in Chapter 1. And you can always add new characters in to replace dead ones, in my opinion, providing there's at least one character continuing from what's happened before. But I don't know how we would get away with continuing the campaign if all our characters had died, and we'd have to have made 4 new characters. That would have been interesting to see, but as it is, we survived by the skin of our teeth. What's been interesting even so far, and what I've really enjoyed about it, is first of all, I mean, it's a good old-fashioned campaign with lots of information flying at you. If you're not paying attention, you might miss something interesting. But also the fact that it's really got that feeling of impending dread that a good horror scenario should have. And what I mean by that is, even in the prologue in Peru, and certainly the New York chapter, we found ourselves constantly worrying about every choice we made, every decision, every action, everything could have been fatal. So you're constantly edgy, you're constantly nervous. And that's as it should be for a horror game. Your players should be worrying about, in a fantasy scenario, when you're playing heroes, you go up to the door, you might check the door for traps, but you will go through the room because you feel absolutely confident. With a horror scenario, you're worried about whether you should go up that corridor. And if you do go up that corridor, you're worried about getting to that door. And if you do go to that door, you're worried about whether you should touch the door at all and check for traps. And even if you do check for traps and don't find any, you're still worried about opening the door. It's just a constant bag of nerves. And that's as a good horror game should be. In terms of my playing, I knew that this was a game that was going to have a lot of emotion. And because of that, I didn't want to do an accent. So I'm playing an African American with a Scottish accent. Well, a Scottish accent, sometimes bordering on posh. Because he's a professor of archaeology, so he's a well-educated man, so he will have a good vocabulary about him. just from education. And I I didn't want to do an accent because I knew we were going to run the gamut of emotions, particularly fear, terror, despair. But I'm pleased with how I'm handling the characters so far. I feel my playing is good. I feel that I'm an active participant in the game. I don't feel overwhelmed by other players, which is good for me, for my own confidence. And I'm feeling pretty comfortable in that. Love the players I'm with. Phil and Becky, obviously. Phil and Becky, I'll get to Jason in a minute about GMing. But that sort of core four, we play a lot, so I'm kind of used to them. Giorgio, I had not met before. I didn't know before he started it, and he's slotted right in. He's slotted right in with the silliness of it, because as much as it's terrifying and all the rest of it, we have found a lot of gallows humour. I think not as a way of diluting the horror, but more in a way of coping with it, which I think is how horror comedy and sort of humour can work in a horror game. Not to water down, but just it's a coping mechanism. And he's jumped right in, and it's been great. Jason is a really good GM. Most other games he's a great GM, but it's clear from previous Cthulhu game I've played with him GMing, and this one, like, Cthulhu is where his juice is. I think as any GM, you can do a vast array of different styles and tones. Maybe not everyone, but a vast array. But there'll always be that one genre stroke system that you just gravitate towards, that just hits a sweet spot for you. I have to say with Becky, it's probably Corporation. She just seems to enjoy that. And with Jason, it's clearly Cthulhu. He's in his element there, and he's enjoying it thoroughly. And because he has that passion and ability, I mean, last night, oh my God, the encounter, there was so much going on that things were getting a bit sort of hectic, but that was just because so much was going on. But he's a really good GM. It's my GMing to shame at times. Although I would really love to. I'd love to write a modern horror scenario. I'd love to use cult, but failing that, through 20, and run modern horror and see, not in competition, just I've been so impressed by Jason and his ability with a horror game. I'd love to see what the guys think of mine. But that would have to wait, particularly with a cult, until someone actually releases a proper PDF of the first edition, which I'd love to see. But anyway, we're off topic. So far, the game has been fantastic. I have enjoyed it thoroughly. We're doing some... I mean, Chapter 1 isn't quite finished. We're doing some last-minute bits and bobs next session. just to you know, it literal. It in many ways it's almost the kind of quintessential epilogue that you would find in Quinn Martin production TV shows. For the end of that episode, and then moving on to the next, which I really like the idea of. But other than that, it's been fantastic. We're looking forward to the next part already. We're already planning. Great scenario, great players, fantastic GM on it. Really enjoying it. So that's my thoughts on the prologue and chapter 1. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll be back soon with another video.